Go ahead and do a little intro on this truck. So it's a 64 F100 short bed. And this is one of those bad ideas where I picked the truck up. Really, it's just somewhere to put this engine. So kind of a long story with this engine. This is built in 2003. I'd done it for a street strip Mustang Fox body and was in the middle of doing that. Long story short, ended up kind of inheriting this Mercury. The Mercury was white at the time, complete rust bucket that was purchased by my father and really needed a full restoration. That took precedence, so our priority. And basically the Mustang got shelved. I moved a couple times in there. Ended up just getting rid of the Mustang and kept the engine. So it's a 351 Windsor stroke to 408 scat kit with SRP pistons and AFR 205s, Victor Jr. just ported, and hydraulic roller, 242, 250 duration, 576 lift on a 110 center. So just kind of a street strip deal, 10.5 to 1 compression, so it could run on pump gas. Really was designed to go in that Mustang, something pretty light. This truck's obviously a little heavier, so coming around to 3,700 pounds. I was thinking a Mustang would come in right at 3,000. So it's a little snottier than I'd like for something like a truck like this, but it is what it is. It's paid for, so I didn't have to do anything. And it made 570 horse and 530 foot-pounds, so it should move the truck fine. Can't see too well down here. It's actually it's a performance automatic super comp C4. It's a reverse manual valve body, so pretty serious transmission to put in a truck, but that's what I had laying around. I would definitely put a stick in it if I could, but again, that's free. And putting a Tremec in it with everything, the blow-proof bell housing and a steel flywheel and all that, come to $4,500, so this is free. So anyway, yeah, I bought a truck to just have somewhere to put an engine, basically, which is really a bad idea, but it is what it is. So anyway, I found this three miles from my house, kind of as you see it, minus engine. So the guy had already started putting in a Crown Vic front end with Backyard Customs kit, and it's got outcast mounts, so pretty cool stuff there. It's just tacked in now. It's all nice and square. You put it in right, at least tacked in right. So, you know, the fab looked pretty good. I'm going to finish it up and walk around a little bit more. A lot of the rust work is already done. Worked on the A-pillar, did a little floor work. Sorry, it's kind of a mess. But I did a lot of the work in the cab, so a lot of the hard work's already done. The truck's got, it's got some rust in the cab corners, as they all do. The bed's actually pretty decent, except for the quarters that back here. Both quarters are gone right there, but that's just putting the cap on. And then it's kind of Swiss cheese back here. It doesn't look bad, but it's all pinhole back there on both sides. You can't see it too well. Sorry, this is just impromptu, but bed floors are gone, as a lot of them are. So it was just something that came up local. It was easy to get. It was a good price, especially with all the parts that are in it. These trucks aren't getting any cheaper. Short bed slicks are not getting any cheaper, so I snagged it. I mean, I'd rather just get it, and instead of looking for the perfect one for years, just get one that's local. Tailgate's pretty good. It's not all beat to death. The bed overall, you know, the wheel wells, you can't see them too well, but they're not beat to death. This is not some farm truck that's just been hammered. So there is the normal rust down at the bottom. I'll have to fix that, but it's not bowed. It's not hit real hard, so we'll definitely use it. I'm gonna leave this. This is gonna be a patina truck. I've gone down the route of having a car painted. It's expensive, it takes forever, and then, you know, you're afraid to drive it in the rain and the crap. I want to drive this truck a lot, so I'm leaving it as is. Kind of like the patina look. So with the Crown Vic front end, it's going to be about a 5-inch drop. Right now, I just put the engine in yesterday to see where it would get some weight in it, and you can see the front end sitting way too high. So it has pretty stiff springs in it. And I don't know if this is the police front end with the stiffer springs in it or not, but it is, you know, those A-arms are supposed to be running parallel to the ground. You know, it's sitting right at the very, very top of its range. range of motion right now, so we're gonna have to put some lighter springs in it, and that should drop it, you know, I mean 2 or 3 inches from where it is now. So with that, you know, I want it fairly low. I don't want to make it so low that I have to cut the bed. I don't want to have to put some kickouts over the rear axle, but I do want it, you know, down quite a bit. I'm going to run some something like 18s in the back with about a 295 tire, something like a 245 in the front, maybe 50 series. I'll have to play with it a little bit. I have a set of these just Crown Vic steel wheels that I'll, you know, use to mock up and see what they look like and go from there. But look at a bunch of these trucks at the F100 Nationals, and that's about the stance I like. So it's got the Crown Vic front end in it, and then so this is the stock rear end. They're 5 on 5.5 or 5 on 5 bolt pattern. So getting rid of that, I'm getting rid of this whole rear end and putting a 73-9 in it, which I actually have over here. So the Crown Vic front end is something on the order of 6 inches wider than the rear, 4 to 6 inches wider. So I didn't want that. So if you get a 73 to 79 Ford rear, they're only 2 inches total narrower than the front. So the track lists are the same. I got the housing for like 60 bucks. And I got eBay 9-inch, you know, NASCAR takeout. There's a million of them on there. It's 410 gear or 411 with a Detroit locker. So got that pretty cheap. And then, you know, it's 31 spline. And then I just went to Dutchman to get axles. You know, I know there's Moser and Strange and all those places. These are almost 120, 150 bucks cheaper by the time you buy bearings and everything. I'm not going to run it on slicks or anything like that. I didn't need anything crazy. And they had the dimensions already, so it was pretty easy just to order these. So I'm pretty happy with them. They fit up pretty well. But anyway, that gives me 5 on 4.5. So it's the same as the front end. So you can have the same pattern front and back, which is going to be staggered wheels. So I'm not going to be moving the wheels around. I just can't see having 2 different bolt patterns. It drive me nuts. Plus, then I have the wider axle. So we'll go with that. What I'm planning on right now is to put a 4-link in the rear. So I'm just going to use that for mock-up, and then I'll get my ride height, which is why I put the engine in first and working on that. So I'll get the ride height, and then start to figure out what I need to do as far as a C-notch, and go from there. Not sure what 4-link I'm going to put in yet. I saw a bunch of them this last weekend. Again, I was at the F100 Nationals in Pigeon Forge, and a lot of nice parts out there. Definitely want to do a 4-link in it, something where it's adjustable, something where I don't have wheel hop. So I'll have 2 cars now that have leaf springs. So this is a 390, just not even, you know, it's about a 400 horse 390 with slapper bars, real old school, and a Tremec TKO. And it wheel hops even with the slappers, which is not really that surprising, but you know, I don't want to have that situation again. It sucks. And then I have a 66 Fairlane with a 460 in it. It's got south side lift bars in it with a stick with a top loader, and it wheel hops really bad. I hate it. You break parts. So I just want to put a good rear end in it. So I'm going to do that, and it'll be pretty cool. You know, somewhat modern suspension in this old truck. So that's it. So next steps are, I got the engine in just to, again, try and get some weight on it, but this cross member here, I didn't know if we're going to have to pull it or not. But you can sort of see that Super Comp has the deep pan on it, and that's hitting. And so I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to cut these rivets tonight and just yank this out of here. I could probably keep it. I could probably section it and get it in there. Plus the engine can slide back a little bit. You can see I have quite a bit of room, and you can slide it back. But I think it's going to get in the way of the headers too. It's going to be right where the headers want to run. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Plus there's another transmission cross member that came with the truck that'll mount, mount back there where the tranny mount is. So I'm gonna put that in. So I'll cut this out of here, but I'll get that done just so I can get the engine kind of settled where it's really gonna sit. Again, I think it's gonna come, I'm gonna come back at least an inch and a half back towards the firewall, get the weight back. And after that, then I'll yank this rear end out of here, this axle, and start to set my ride height. Right now, obviously it's squatted, it's gonna have to squat quite a bit more. And I already do have a rear disc set up too, so I gotta get that on the truck. So I just got a, Dutchman just sells this kind of generic Right Stuff kit. it looks the same as kind of the one you get from Jegs or any the parts houses like Speedway. It's kind of a generic kit, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. Rear disc. It's got an integral parking brake, which is cool. So start getting some of those hard parts mocked up, get the stance figured out, and then we'll start tearing it down. And I'm not going to do a ton of fabrication on it besides the 4-link. I just want to clean it up, get everything done. Clean it up, get everything pulled off of it. I am going to sandblast or clean up the frame, do that. I don't know if I'm going to powder coat it. Again, it's supposed to be a cheap project. But I'll paint it, clean it up. Same for the front end. You know, this Crown Vic all cruddy. Crown Vic front end's all cruddy. Get that all cleaned up. Yeah, really just detail it out and then slowly go through to any body work. The front end is actually really clean. A little bit of the inner fenders need a little rust repair, but not too bad. Cab obviously, needs corners and a little bit of work on the floor, just kind of buttoning up any of the welds that were done there, and then the bed. So I have some body work to do. Hopefully to do this very quickly, get this done. Goal is to have it done by winter. So it's May 17th today. If we have it done on the road by winter, we'll be happy. I'm going to rewire the whole car. I've never done that, but there's obviously not much wiring in it now. What I have seen, it's all crusty, and there's no reason to even try to use it. It's nowhere near a stock vehicle. So you have an electric water pump. I'm going to probably put electric steering in it. So I'm just going to rewire everything probably with American Auto Wire or something like that. So just it'll be nice. I've never been able to do one from scratch, so to speak. This car was not a frame off. This was done frame on. Pretty extensive, but it's not the same. It's not been rewired or anything like that. So that's it. Like I said, tonight I'm just going to knock out that cross member, get that out of there, and see how it goes. Hopefully these rivets aren't too bad to get out of here.